Welcome back. Apple now exempted from some tariffs after CEO Tim Cook met with President Trump in the Oval Office yesterday and upped his investment in the U.S. to $600 billion total. For today's Tech Check, Steve Kovac digs into Apple's Diplomat-in-Chief. Seems to be working, Steve.
Yeah, it's definitely working. Just look at the stock. But first, let's rewind the clock back to May of this year when President Trump just could not stop talking about Tim Cook. Take a listen.
Thank you very much, Jensen. I mean, Tim Cook isn't here. I had a little problem with Tim Cook yesterday. I said to him, Tim, you're my friend. I've treated you very good. You're coming in with $500 billion, but now I hear you're building all over India. I don't want you building in India.
Well, what a difference 3 months can make. By the way, Tim Cook is still building in India, but we're watching Cook, the politician, yesterday gave the president exactly what he wanted, a big headline number and a gold statue to go along with it. Now Apple gets relief from some of the worst tariffs, and the president let go of his demand for iPhones to be built here in the United States. Now, you might remember, guys, Cook wrote the playbook to handling Trump in his first term. Other tech CEOs tried to resist, while Cook actually embraced Trump and gave him the photo ops and some big numbers to tout. Now, yesterday's Oval Office event kind of echoes what we saw in 2019 when Trump and Tim Cook visited an Austin, Texas factory. It was a pre-existing facility, but it gave Trump the photo op of an Apple product being made in the United States. And that resulted in tariff relief just a short few weeks later. And yesterday, Apple said it's increasing its spending in the U.S. by $100 billion. The big part of that is a $2.5 billion expansion of the Corning glass factory in Kentucky. Apple says all the glass for devices will eventually come out of that facility. The other $97.5 billion, though, that's an expansion of some existing partnerships with U.S. suppliers. I'm showing a number of them for you right there. And as analysts have said since that initial $500 billion announcement earlier this year, much of that spending was likely baked in already. Now Cook has the president off his back, though, and despite the big gains over the last 2 days, the stock is still underperforming its Mag 7 peers since Liberation Day. They still got to figure out artificial intelligence, guys.
Yeah, I was going to say, when do we get back to that debate? I do wonder, though, Steve, we've been talking about chips all morning long, and I wonder how many companies can sort of replicate sort of this visual performative aspect of it, and then again, as you said, baking in even prior CapEx intentions into what seems new.
Yeah, it's going to be hard because not every smaller business has the clout that Tim Cook and Apple have. I mean, it's easy for NVIDIA's Jensen Huang to get into the White House. It's easy for Tim Cook or Satya Nadella. It's less easy for folks like the CEO of Sonos, which just yesterday said they have to raise prices because of tariffs. Or Nintendo, they just announced last week that they're going to end up raising prices on some of their products because of these new tariffs. They can't just the president of Nintendo, Carl, is not going to walk into the Oval Office and hand the president a golden Pikachu or something. It's gonna, they don't have that kind of clout. So they are going to have to pass those costs on to the consumer, while we've seen Apple do a mix of absorbing the costs of the tariffs. We know they're expecting $1.1 billion in those costs for this quarter. We'll see what that looks like moving forward if that actually goes down. But yeah, not every smaller business can do what we saw Tim Cook do yesterday.
A golden Luigi, golden Mario, maybe.
Yeah.
Secretary Letnick, a few months ago, he talked about, millions of people with tiny screws and the iPhones. It sounds like even if it's $600 billion, that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, and I think we got to be really clear. This is not $600 billion going directly towards, and some of the money is, but not all. Most of it is not going to be going directly towards job creation, building factories here, and definitely not building those iPhones like we heard the president and his the members of his staff say on our network and so often throughout the last several months that was their ultimate goal. And you just heard it in the sound I played for you at the top of this hit, that the president was upset that the phones were being made in India. And yesterday he said, it's okay. Tim Cook, he's making enough stuff here now. We're good.
Sounds like that's the way it works. Steve, thank you.